Rounding decimals. Decimals are parts of the whole. So let's look at place values, as this will help make sense. So we have this number below, right here, and we start with a 5, and it has that big decimal number. So everything after is showing that after that is a different kind of number. So the 5 represents the ones place. And then we go to the right, unlike how we did on whole numbers. So we kind of do this a little different. So we have ones here. And then we have a decimal. So this indicates that everything after has an order to their place value. So this 1 represents the tenths value. This 2 represents the hundredths. 3 represents the thousands. The 4 represents the 10,000s. Then we have the 100,000s. And then we have the millions. So this is the values that we have for decimals. Now, another way to look at this is when we look at, like, say we have tenths. Tenths is another way to say that we're splitting up a whole number into 10 parts. And we look at the 2, which is the hundredths. Another way to think of this is when we say we're having a hundredths, we're splitting that up into 100 parts. So one whole becomes 100 parts then. So kind of the same. Now, when we look at rounding, as we'll be rounding in this section, we have the same rules as in with the whole numbers. If it's between 0 to 4, we round down. And if it's between 5 to 9, we round up. So now let's go ahead and look at some examples. Diane just received an oil change for her car. She paid in cash and received $23.45 back in cash. Round 23.45 to the nearest tenths. So we're going to go ahead and write out this number. We start to the left of the decimal. So this is our 1 spot. Then we have our decimal. Then we have tenths. So this is what we're rounding. And then to the right of it is the hundredths. We're going to look at that 5 to see if we round up or if we round down. And our rules are 0 to 4, we round down. 5 to 9, we round up. So for this number, we can see that the 5 is in this range. So we're going to round up for the 4. So we have 23.5. As the 4 became a 5, and then anything after we make a 0. So if we were to round this, this would be $23.50 for rounding to the nearest tenths. Let's look at another example. Round 116.932 to the nearest hundredths. So let's write out this number. So we have the 6, which is to the left of the decimal, and that's our 1 spot. Then to the right of it, we have our tenths. Then we have hundredths. So let's underline that because that's what we're rounding. Now we look to the right of it to see if we round up or down. So we have our rules. 0 to 4, we round down. 5 to 9, we round up. So we would look at this number and we would change it to, we have 116.9, so we don't round anything before that. Then we have this 3. We are going to be rounding down because it's between 0 to 4, which is the 2. So then we would round to the 3, and then everything after we change to 0. Now, because this is a decimal, you could just write 116.93. As these zeros, you don't need anymore. For decimals only. So now let's look at another example. At the parts store, Reggie is buying parts for his car and owes $67.92. Round 67.92 to the nearest whole number. So let's write out this number. So we have the nearest whole number, which would be our 1 spot. So let's put a line underneath the 7. And then we're going to look to the right of it, which is the 9, to see if we round up or down. Because 9 is between 5 to 9, we are rounding up. So we would change the 7 to an 8. So we have 6, 8. Then we have a decimal still. And then everything after we change to zeros. So we could either write just 68, or we can write 68 point with that decimal 00. And this would be the nearest whole number.